Director Blacklands,
Yes, here.
Director Campbell,
Here.
Director Haglund,
Here.
Director Kern,
Here.
Director Nelson,
Here.
Director Nystrom,
Here.
all here.
Thank you. Now we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we need an approval of the agenda as presented.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first from Director Haglund, a second from Director Campbell. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. We start with the building project update. Brandon Kellerman and Chris Zimmerman.
Supposed to be here, but is Brandon coming too, Chris?
Thought he was, yeah.
Okay, so he got caught up in a meeting?
He may be.
Okay.
Good morning. It's unusual for me to say for board meeting, but we're here today primarily for three items. Approval to go out to bid for Forestview Middle School, Nisswa Elementary, and Harrison Elementary. And then after that, I've got a quick update for kind of just where the high school is at as well, just for the group, so. So again, Harrison Elementary, just a quick overview of the site improvements. Parking lot, improved play areas, and then obviously the building addition. Plans. Then the exterior image.
Now, there's a more current
Yeah,
image of
yeah.
that, right, with
I
the blue?
grabbed the wrong one by accident, I apologize. Budget, we're still tracking on budget as we were in the previous phase. And schedule, we're tracking as discussed previously as well. So this one will bid on a change in your agenda. This one will actually bid on the 2nd of April.
Chris, can you go over for us?
Sure.
We understand what's in the Harrison bid itself. What are the ad alternates that are being put into the bid process so that the board has an idea
Yep.
what isn't included right now and only will be if there's enough money in it?
The biggest one is the gym, obviously going to the full-size gym that I can. So right here, acceptance of that alternate would give us the bigger gym, and that is dependent obviously on good bids on bid day, being under budget. The others are pretty minor, mostly finish items that we did just for safeguarding the budget primarily.
There any roofs or anything like that that's in the ad alternates?
I believe so, yes.
There
There's an
is
upgrade.
some roof, the whole roof or just a part of it?
Portion,
A
just
portion?
portions, yep.
So, Chris, on our agenda,
Yep.
it says that March 28th for.
Correct.
So we're April.
April
So
2nd.
Garmin-
We have since learned there's a large project in Grand Rapids bidding. Brand new school. We just don't want to compete and take away from bidders. It was a new development. Within the last week, we learned that that bid date had been set. They just bid their previous elementary last week, or one of the first two elementaries last week was bid out as well. Looks like bids came in very favorably there.
Okay.
So that's good news. It sounds like it's one of the first major projects in northern Minnesota to be bid in K-12. So again, a good indication that there's bidders that are hungry out there. But we don't want competition of two fairly large projects. That was a $24 million project. Harrison's $19 million total. We just don't want to. Bidders are going to have to pick and choose if we end up in that situation, and that's usually not to the benefit of the district in that situation as well. So.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of aggressive anyhow on, on the way we were pushing. Well, I know we got to stay on track, but that did seem kind of aggressive anyhow.
And we'll have another follow-up meeting with the Baxter Elementary bidding on the 9th as well, so we'll just address it at that time.
And when would we, you know, put the shovel in the ground if that was the case? What do you think?
If it stops snowing, my guess is we probably won't be digging any sooner than May,
Okay,
based on where we're at with frost and temperatures and snow right now. It's kind of what we're planning for. That being said, and I can probably address this now without getting into too much detail, the others, but before we even dig in the ground, there's a lot of steps that are going into place. So submit to the state for plan review. They have to review the plans, approve the plans before a permit can be sent out. That'll be done for plumbing as well and food service. And then shop drawings are the biggest thing. Contractors are required to submit shop drawings so we can check the materials that they're ordering and providing on the project and make sure that they conform to the spec. So there's time that'll be spent doing that up front anyway before we even dig, but obviously the sooner we can get in ground, better, but there isn't any time lost, I would say, in the time being as we're gonna be doing those efforts, so.
I have one more question. You said that the bids came in fairly well, or fairly good as far as Grand Rapids, the first project that they
Yes.
brought forward for. How about the number of people out bidding? Did it seem like there was a nice turnout?
Sounds like they got very good coverage, so
Okay.
there's multiple trades still looking for work, so.
So do you feel with us coming behind them that that number could diminish somewhat, or that?
I don't know. Brandon, have you talked to a lot of bidders, or I've talked to quite a few myself. Sounds like everyone's waiting for these projects specifically.
They are, okay.
I've spoken to, but.
Yeah, actually just came from Northstown's office. They're still looking forward to bidding all these projects. And, yeah, I think you definitely have the advantage with the local.
Why don't you come up here?
They've been, yeah, so the local contractors have been kind of holding some spots for the project. It's when you start to get out a little bit further that may be an issue. But we really won't know until we open bids is the reality of it, so.
Okay. Brandon, do you remember the specifics for Harrison as to the ad alternates? We talked about the gym, some finishing items, a portion of the roof. Is there anything else that's an ad alternate on those bidding?
Yeah, there was some more. I don't remember exactly what they were. I'd have to look at the documents if you want to give accurate information.
Okay.
Nisswa Elementary, site plan as planned. Again, the parking on the east side of the building, that is by alternate. We also have the 2 classroom addition as an alternate as well that kind of fits right above the gym there. It's not dashed in, but that's where it'll go.
It would be right, oops, I can't reach that high, right there, yep.
And the exterior imagery for that building, the back of the building. And again, this one's tracking with budget as it has in the past phase as well. And schedule, this one would be bidding on the 26th, so Tuesday, 26th of March. Forestview Middle School. Again, a lot of the work is site-related to improve flow traffic there, involve some of the stacking of cars, and then the secure entry, and then the imagery of that. Again, this one is as well as tracking with the budget in the previous phase, and this one will bid on the 27th, that Wednesday.
Okay.
Then while we're all together, I just wanted to give a quick update of where we're at with the high school. So we met last Tuesday. This is the current site plan that's in development right now. We're looking at probably pushing all the buses down to the lower lot right now just to accommodate the number of buses that we'll be dealing with. Parent drop-off on the south of the building, and then parking, obviously where we can fit it in, and the parking on the south of the building there, please note that that won't occur until the South Campus project starts as well. So there's a lot of moving parts that we'll have to obviously finish before we can move other students around, but that's the overall concept as it sits right now. Floor plans, the overall floor plans really haven't changed a whole lot, other than the pack. So again, we met last Tuesday to discuss this in detail. So the lobby has been enlarged on the east side of the building. And where we were last in the project, that whole portion of the building's been shifted to the east to get a little more prominence along the road there in viewing. This is just the upper level. And then these are some renderings that just give us an idea of what that's starting to look like. And some starts of what that entry is gonna look like, the main entry as well. Starting to refine that as well.
Do you want to talk about a few of the changes that you're looking at the high school entrance and why those were made?
So one of them's pulling the trees out to get some viewability to the site. I think we're trying to keep as many as we can, but part of the problem you have right now is you just can't see back there because of the trees are growing and maturing in a good canopy, but obviously that does hinder some viewing. The standardization of the logo and the blue panel, that's been applied as well. And then what you're seeing behind is the added signage of Brainerd High School, but behind that then is the commons you're starting to see as well. The addition that'll be going in the courtyard and renovation of that area. Starting to give this a little bit more prominence than it maybe has right now. And then just a recap on schedule. And we'll be bringing the high school back on the 18th for final design development approval. Any questions?
I have a question. So as I was reading through the plan documents this weekend, on the Harrison documents, in one of the first pages, it had an old picture that showed where that parking would be to the west of Harrison, the original plan. And maybe that doesn't matter. I just was wondering, because it still showed that we would acquire those 4 houses to the west of Harrison.
I'll have to look at that, I guess. It's
Okay.
Not ringing a bell.
It was dated in 2018, so I just figured it changed, but,
I'll take a look.
okay.
Make sure it's right.
Did the wrong one get submitted, maybe?
Nothing's been submitted yet, so just
No, just on board book?
maybe on board book, they grabbed the wrong image.
Oh, okay,
Apologize if that's the case, but that has all been changed. There's nothing happening.
okay.
Any further questions? Anybody? Okay, we'll go into our action items. We start with the approval of the final design for Forestview Middle School for the drop-off and the safe and secure entrance.
Also move approval of that final design.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. We have a first from Director Nelson, a second from Director Campbell. Further discussion? Seeing none,
I still have some concerns about how much we've looked at the other options in terms of the drop-off area for Forestview. I was up in Bemidji this past weekend at a basketball tournament, and their newer grade school there had a wonderful drop-off, which is actually very similar to one of the designs that you had shown me when you're kind of bringing me up to speed in terms of that drop-off. And I guess in terms of whether or not we're truly looking at the best interest of the parents, being mindful of a quick and safe drop-off for our students. I just still have some concerns about that and would love for the board to consider consider that concern. Looking at it, using it this weekend, I really, or strongly recommend that we consider an actual drop-off that is no longer a horseshoe. Finally, I've taken a lot of time over the last couple weeks as I drop my child off, and the issues are that our families will drop at the apex or at the peak of the horseshoe. I'm not sure how lengthening the drive up to it is gonna change anything. For example, when my wife and I built our house this past year, we had a person design it. And one of the things that the designer made very clear to us is that we design it with our current behaviors in mind from our old house, because our current behaviors aren't necessarily going to change with a new house. And so that just continues to ring very clearly in my head as we look at the same horseshoe design. I appreciate the hard work that's been put into it, the thought. Completely understand that I'm fairly new to the process. But also, though, I think I speak with a very loud voice that right now my children are actively using that drop-off. I use that drop-off every day. And I just have great concern about whether or not that's really gonna change and make it for a smooth drop-off process for us, for our parents.
Okay, any other comments?
Just want to share comment as well. There's been a lot of work that's been put into it, and I'm comfortable with it. My only disappointment is that to my knowledge, we still didn't ask a dozen, 15, 20 parents that drop their kids off every day and pick up every day their thoughts on that. I know we had some feedback, but that we didn't take that step of identifying 15, 20 parents who use it similar to Charles every day. Seeing and being involved with it, I'm comfortable with it, but it's a request that I had more than once, and that never came around, and I would hope that we dig into that a little bit deeper. Not interested in the blueprint response piece. I'm talking about specifically getting with 15, 20 parents that use it every day. But
I think my final comment is that we need to make sure that we hit this out of the park from where we sit in terms of those that we represent. And from what I've heard so far is this is probably the best design. And I don't feel 100% comfortable with probably. When I've had surgeries in the past, I definitely didn't settle for probably going to be the best plan. What I want is what is going to be the best plan. And I struggle with the fact that one weekend traveling with my kids, I saw a design that I feel would work better. Of course, I don't have the degree behind my name, and I appreciate that. I understand that, but we just really need to hit this out of the park. And I don't want to just be okay with the plan. We need to hit this one out of the park. This has been something I've heard about for years, even before my children started attending Forestview. We need to hit this out of the park.
Okay. If there are no other comments, we'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-1. And then we'll move on to the approval for the construction documents and authorize construction manager to solicit bids for the Harrison Elementary.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first from Director Nystrom, a second from Director Blacklands. Any discussion?
Quick question on the alternates. We'll see those bid alternates the same day, is that right? And then I would assume at our next board meeting, we decide whether we're gonna move forward with
Project
it.
oversight, we'd discuss them,
yeah, okay.
and then that group would make a recommendation to the board as to where we're comfortable or reasonable budget.
Okay, thank you.
One, just clarifying question, Lane, you had pointed out a slide that wasn't quite updated with, as it relates, was it Harrison or was it Nisswa?
It was Harrison, it was the front of the Harrison building, and the reason I knew it wasn't the most current one we had is because there's a big blue banner on all of the finalized ones, and this one didn't have the blue banner on it.
And that was the only,
That's the only one that was
That's in the
different.
drawings. It's just
Yeah.
grabbed an old image by mistake.
And I know last week I presented too, and that same drawing was in it, and it's like, so I had to explain it. That's why I was on top of it, because I caught it then too. So we just got to get the right one in there, so, yeah.
Oh,
But
thank
it's
you.
just basically the color of the banner. Otherwise, the entrance and everything is the same.
great, thank you.
Yeah, yep.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Approval of the construction documents and authorize construction manager to solicit bids for the Nisswa Elementary.
So moved.
Second?
All right, we have a first from Director Campbell, a second from Director Haglund. Discussion? Comments? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Now we have some future meetings here to talk about. March 6th, Brunch with Lane at the high school. March 7th and 8th, the Massa Spring Conference. March 11th through the 15th is spring break. No school.
I would like to announce with that too, that the district offices will be closed Wednesday through Friday next week. Several of us will be here Monday and Tuesday, but they'll be closed Wednesday through Friday, so.
All right, that's good to know.
Yep.
March 18th is the public hearing for the property acquisition abatement at 5:45 PM that Monday. And then following the regular school board meeting at 6 o'clock, which we'll move it back if we need more time for discussion. March 20th, lunch with Lane at Nisswa. March 25th, MSBA Day at the Capitol. March 26th is the Nisswa construction bid project opening here at Washington at 2 PM. March 27th is the Forestview construction project bid opening here at Washington at 2 PM. And then there was a typo here, Tuesday, April 2nd, April 2nd, Harrison Elementary construction bid project opening here at Washington at 2 o'clock.
So we're crossing our fingers for some really good bids.
Yes, we're gonna get some
On
good
those
ones.
3 days, yep.
All right, then, that's the end of this meeting. We're gonna go into closed session. Pursuant to Minnesota statute, section 13D.05, subdivision 3C3, to consider the acquisition of property. And while we're in closed session, the school board will be considering an offer to purchase the property described here as PID number 033670010020009 and PID number 033670010030009. And included in that discussion will be Jasperwood Drive, Middleton Road, and Knollwood Drive.
I will so move, Madam Chair.
Thanks. We have a first. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a first from Director Nystrom, a second from Director Nelson to go into closed session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We'll go into closed session.